world game scope
I'll tell
and
you.
scale.
I'll tell you how that game would beat Breath of the Wild if I could climb a mountain. If I could climb and then glide down, I'd be like, you know what, this is it right here. This is it.
You can't climb and glide down. You can climb certain parts, but yeah, you can't freely climb anywhere that you want. But Breath of the Wild is only one character, on screen fighting, whereas Xenoblade has up to 7 and a bunch of enemies all fighting you at the same time, and it's seamless. Like it goes right into the battles. You can leave the battles whenever you want. So I don't know. To me, that's pretty impressive. If every third-party developer had, put that amount of time or effort, clearly Pokemon is not putting that amount of time or effort,
Pokemon, yeah. Well,
it's just like everyone's been saying, man. It's definitely time. It's definitely time. I think that we're gonna see something maybe next year. So I think
everyone's really hopeful that we're gonna see a new Switch or just something to improve on the hardware next year. And the fact that Breath of the Wild was such a landmark moment for people, where I've seen people, I have no idea they played games. They're like, yeah, it's Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is my favorite one. Stone Cold Steve Austin said that's his favorite. That's the best Zelda game is Breath of the Wild.
He didn't know what he was talking about.
He knew exactly what he was talking about.
He knew exactly what he was talking about. Yeah, he knew exactly what he was talking about.
Stone Cold said so.
You questioning Stone Cold right now, Sean?
It was verified that it was a setup by Cody.
I don't know.
No. It's Breath of the Wild, man. It's Breath of the Wild. It takes me back to the first time that I played the original Legend of Zelda. A lot of people get caught up on Zelda 64, with Ocarina and say, "Oh, that's Zelda." It's like, well, no, hold up. The original Zelda, there's still that. That's that, and that's what made me love video games was the original Legend of Zelda. So I like Breath of the Wild, but not everybody likes the format and function. I understand the shortcomings.
I think the big landmark moment then would be the Tears of the Kingdom. Just they haven't shown a lot of it, but from what they've shown with the idea of it being very vertical, multiple levels to it, and still have that same kind of discoverability and interaction with the world, that I think is going to be the next big, okay, this is what the Switch is capable of kind of moment. Because up until this point, people keep telling Breath of the Wild, and Sean's right, that's technically a Wii U game. So
yeah,
I'm hoping new hardware this year coming up. Pair it with Tears of the Kingdom.
No, I don't think they're gonna have Tears of the Kingdom. The hardware out before Tears of the Kingdom or launch.
We'll just have a patch either way. If it's after Tears of the Kingdom, have a patch or something ready for Tears of the Kingdom to take advantage of it. Even if it's backwards compatible, it's like, okay, here's a patch that we're just putting out there. It doesn't necessarily say what it does, but it moves the frame rate up. It makes it look better. It pushes whatever, take advantage of that new system or new features. Maybe they have maybe it's a high refresh screen in the handheld side of things, and like, oh wow, Tears of the Kingdom was running at 144 hertz or something crazy like that, 120 hertz.
Companies should really be utilizing NDI though. I mean, let's be realistic here to get the most out of the Switch games.
Thank you, Sean.
No problem. Go on. Look at Vroom in the Night Sky. That's a banger title.
Vroom in the Night Sky. Wow, it's been a long time since I heard that.
Yeah, it's been a while since I heard about that game.
Is that a real game? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was one of the worst games released on like this. This was back when the eShop was like still kind of young, and it was weird to see like these shovelware looking games pop up. Now it's like constant, but back then it was weird, and it was a game that I think got a 1 out of 10 on one place.
Wow.
And you play it, and you're like, yeah, it looks like a Newgrounds game, kind of.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, on the Switch, but it was it was not great, not great. So that I think is a lot of people's hope right now, is that there is something new from Nintendo in the next 12 to 18 months.
I don't think that's a lot of people's hopes though, because you say something like that, and then I'm sure the comment section of this video.
Let me explain why, because you guys seem to be confused. People are tired of the whole Switch Pro type of stuff because, we faked them out for how many years? They're tired of that ish. And I'm telling you, that is the reason why people push back. Because
are they more tired of that or the games coming out that can't even go lock?
Yeah, what's a bigger deal?
Which one's worse right now?
They're not tired of that because while we have an opinion, they're not tired. While we have an opinion, people are playing the games just fine. They boot up Splatoon, it's just fine. They boot up Xenoblade, it's just fine.
Yeah,
they boot up
Outlier.
everyone's buying Mario Kart 8
for weeks after it released.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is good too.
A Wii U game?
Y'all don't want to listen to me.
Another Wii U game?
My thought, OJ, and I'm not pushing back to the screen. I'm saying that my thing is that I put out a video yesterday saying I think we need a new Switch, and my entire comment section, I didn't lose any subscribers in it, but my entire comment section is like, no, I want the Switch for another 3 years. I have literally over 1,000 comments on that video, and a majority of them are saying, I don't want a new Nintendo Switch, which is very baffling to me that, literally hundreds.
And I'm telling you the reason why. The reason why is that while everybody here, we all, frame rate, Digital Foundry, most people, the majority of people don't have an issue because they've been playing ghetto ass stuff since the Game Boy days. And they don't look at frame rate counters. They just play the game and they have fun. That is the majority of people. And we can sit here and get all upset and pouty about it all we want to, but it's the facts. I'm sorry.
There's a stark difference between a Digital Foundry person who watches every Digital Foundry video and is like, oh, look, the Xbox version goes down to 59, the PS5 version is at 60, and just playing a game and being like, holy hell, like what is going on? There's a big, it's not, I wouldn't say it's as black and white as the situation has made it to be. Some people have just convinced themselves that this thing is going to last forever. And I'm just like, why?
To that point, I've also come across people who've just moved from the Switch to any other system. They don't know frame rates, but they're just like, damn, it's smooth. That's all that matters to them at that point is like, wow.
And I think for a long time, I think the Nintendo Switch for a long time was also the best supplemental console. I knew a lot of people that had a PlayStation 5 and bought every, Nintendo Switch game, or people that had like a $5,000 PC and a Nintendo Switch to play on the go. And I feel like the Steam Deck for a lot of people is filling in that gap. So I think that the Nintendo Switch got to figure out some way to get closer to actually looking like it's from this decade.
I agree with you guys from someone. I want something too, but I'm telling you that is not reflective of what people are playing and people are buying. The sales numbers are coming out. People are still buying it in droves. People are still buying hella games. People are still excited for the games. It still won a ton of awards at the Game Awards for people voting. I get it. Like, trust me, I get it. But people are tired of the whole. They don't care. Whenever Nintendo puts out something, they'll buy it, the next Switch or whatever. But until then, they're just gonna play that. That's why there's a lot. I'm trying to explain why there's a lot of pushback, because I'm telling you, people don't give a shit. Yes, some people have moved on, but Steam also was giving away Steam Decks. We saw the sales numbers of Steam Deck, and it's not sold in stores. It's not sold where people can actually buy it. They've only got a storefront for Steam Deck. They don't. It's not in Best Buy. It's not on Amazon freely. It's just not. It's sold 1 million in about a year or something like that, right? A little bit. They've sold a little bit over a million of them, right?
But isn't that more so manufacturing?
Yeah, manufacturing. What I'm trying to say, I'm not saying that it's not good for what they've done. What I'm saying is that most people aren't going to move on to Steam Deck when it's not sold as widely as Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo. You can't put up the numbers that Nintendo, Xbox, or PlayStation does when you only sell it through your storefront and not on Amazon, not on Best Buy, not completely worldwide, not everywhere. So most people don't have the option to move on to Steam Deck or anything like that, or they don't have the money to move on to PC gaming. They're just gonna play their Switch, and when the next one comes out, they're going to do that. Like I know people in the comment section are probably going to be mad at me for saying this and think I'm defending it or whatever, but it's really not the case. When the new Switch comes out, I'll buy it. I'll play it. I'll enjoy it. I'm just saying it's the facts. It's just how it is.
Here's how we should do this then. If people are happy with their current Switch, just put the Switch Pro out and run this thing another 3 years.
That could happen.
That's not. Hey, we're trying to make everyone happy. Just do that. Just drop it. If people are happy with the Switch now, they don't have to buy another one because they'll play the same games.
I mean, that was the whole.
That would actually probably be better than a Switch 2. Now I think about it, because then everyone's happy.
That was one of the big things when the Switch first came out that we talked about, because a lot of the games were coming out with that scaling texture and everything, and it sounded like if they put out better hardware, the old games would still work and just look better. So that was one of the key things when it was coming out, when we started talking about it, that I was like, yes, this will be great. But now we're just here watching games just chug in all its performance and just nothing on the horizon. And it's like, all right.
All the cloud games.
Well, to be fair, they could randomly announce something and then it's like, oh, okay, here we go. Like they could do that where it's like, it's out in 3 months because it's not like the next gen thing. But if it's next gen, I assume they want like a
Yeah, they
like a 5-month, 8-month run up or something.
But I don't know if that's better. Like you should have announced that back when you started to notice the game's chugging. Or like, is that like the hero moment for them? Is like, we know you're mad that things can barely hit 20 frames and everything feels bad when you're playing it in handheld and it's just not
Evan's
great.
Going off. I love it.
Yeah, but so like, here's the better one. Like, why wouldn't they have done that earlier?
They don't care about frame rate and all that. They
just
literally
don't care about the experience. That's why the main menu on the Switch still sucks. That's why the online, even in their better version in games that use it, still suck. Like they just don't care.
They don't care about the frame rate even when it's in their advantage. They don't, like with Zelda Skyward Sword, 60 frames. They never even mentioned 60. Never mentioned the number 60 at all. Splatoon 60. Never mentioned 60. Smash 60. Never mentioned it. So they don't care one way or another. But they just put out the game.
They don't have to mention it. That's the thing. Like it's just achieve some semblance of smooth gameplay at all. Doesn't need to be 60. Just smooth. Just enjoyable. Like actually enjoyable.
I want a Switch 2 personally.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people want the next thing, but I get OJ. You're saying the mainstream is responding to the current platform and games with money, and Nintendo's like, we're making money off this. We're gonna keep selling it, but you feel like they might be forced into it because how much longer are they making this X1? That's my other thought is how much longer are they producing this thing?
Based on the software pipeline that I've looked at, most of the Nintendo's developers have moved on to the next thing. Monolith Soft has moved on to the next thing. Everybody's pretty much moved on to the next thing. So that's why I think it's going to be a 2024 launch, maybe early 2024 launch, maybe late 2023 or 2024. I know there's a number of studios internally that have already moved on to the next Switch, and they're probably doing maybe some of them have some cross-gen stuff. So I would anticipate that it's going to be announced in 2023 and released in early 2024. That's what I'm guessing, but it could be something different. It could be announced and released in 2024. It could be announced and released in 2023. I don't know, but based on what I know in terms of software, a good number of developers have already, started moving on to the next thing for Nintendo.
Have you started MVG? What's going on over there?
No.
Shit. You're the problem.
I mean, honestly, I have no idea anymore. Like, I thought maybe it was going to be this year that we would hear about it, and that's not any inside info or anything. That's just kind of how I felt about it. So I couldn't really say. Honestly, at this point, I don't even know. We could be on the Switch for another couple of years.
Let's go.
Jesus.
I really don't know. But yeah, I don't have any insight as to what's going on. Third parties, especially kind of small third parties. We're at the bottom of the food chain, man, when it comes to this stuff. I mean, does Capcom and Ubisoft have insight onto this? They probably do, but hopefully we'll hear about it at some point.
I mean, eventually third parties just won't be able to do much with the hardware. As like Genshin Impact still isn't out, and apparently there have been rumors that it has to do with hardware issues.
Yeah, there was an interview where they said they wanted it to perform better because they want the console version on it instead of the.
We're still missing that Star Wars game from Zynga, and aren't they the ones who? Like we're sourced in. Oh yeah, we have a next gen dev kit or something.
Yeah,
I was gonna include that game. That game's weird. On the eShop, it says that it's 300 megabytes.
Star Wars Hunters. I think that's just I think that's just a
client.
I think that's the client. Yeah, because then it has to download updates for it being a live service online arena shooter game. Yeah, I mean it still says on their website it's arriving in 2023. So I don't know. It just says Nintendo Switch, iOS, and Android. So maybe they're just having development issues in general behind the scenes.
I just feel like, and this will be my last thing on it. I said this towards the end of my video that I put up about this, but I just feel like the Nintendo Switch feels like it's so far behind now. And the specific example I gave is that it's weird that Final Fantasy 16 is about to come out and Final Fantasy 15 can't run on the Switch. Like that's my thought, is that it just shows that like as much as I had fun